now. It's about that time.
Pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4. Here we go, Roger.
Then with the coach, Mickey Clayton on INSiiGHTS. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS, where we always talk the talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, with us today is a legend in his own right, Coach Quintin Lewis, head men's football coach. I say head men's coach, but head men's football coach at Rickards, and has established quite a legacy at Rickards, and has one of his guys even gone off to school. He was maybe a 4-star recruit, Marcus Riley, and in camp somewhere with the Rams and the Jets, and you get a chance to see some of these guys do well. Coach, what does it make you feel like to be able to see these guys continue their dream and stuff like that?
To be honest with you, it's the only reason I coach is to see what guys are 10 years from now. I mean, I can care less about winning football games and all that other stuff. It's about if I can make them a good man, make a good husband, good father, I done did something. And so that's really my real goal. Football, I just happen to be the coach. The guys happen to be very good at playing it. But it's about making sure they're established 10 years from now so they can be successful.
Okay, Coach, you from the South Side.
Yep.
So tell us about that in terms of how you relate to these guys here in the South Side at Rickards.
I tell them that's what Rickards is about. I think we have the biggest fan base in the area. We have the most exciting fan base in the area. So I tell my guys that we play for the South Side. The South Side is what we play for, to bring excitement, notoriety to the South Side, and that's what it's really about. And so I'm just happy to be from here, man. Just be around and be able to coach these young men from that area. I always tell them nothing that you can tell me that I haven't seen and been through before. I walk these halls. I run the same streets y'all ran, and so nothing that you can tell me. I know it's an end for you. You don't have to be. You have to be on the streets. I can show you plenty of guys that I grew up with, and that's doing it now. That's from the same area. That's doing great for themselves. And so I try to make sure the kids understand that, because sometimes they use being from the South Side as an excuse.
Well, you have a young man I met at Marcus Riley. You had that function. He played with you, I think, here at Rickards. He's his agent now or something?
Elton Patterson. Right. Elton Patterson grew up right in South City for a little while, and moved to Pine Lakes. And I made a comment during that time that them guys, Marcus Riley from Pine Ridge and Elton from Pine Lakes, they ride the South Side. They ride the South Side. They right there from where everybody's growing up at right now. You see them guys doing good for themselves. Elton got his master's in school, wrote a book. He's an agent. He's a real estate agent also. So he's doing great for himself. Marcus Riley with the Jets, hopefully make the team. Was signed a great contract. Mm-hmm. Them things that people don't think that they can come from the South Side and make some of themselves, and it's not true. I mean, I was plenty of people on the South Side with businesses and all that. That doing great things. I mean, so it's a blessing, and I hope we can keep it growing.
Now, Now, with you being from the South Side, there's a number of people that you have access to that are positive role models for these guys to follow. How important is that for you to be able to bring these people in and talk to them, and especially with the discipline that you instill in them, because you know where they're trying to go. So as that football coach and being a former coach, I know that we have that ability to talk to them in a way everybody else can't talk to them.
Right. I think it's been a blessing. Everybody I have brought in to talk to them has a story to tell, a real story, not one of them things that's made up. It's a real story. From Corey Fuller to Alonzo Johnson to Gene Atkins and all them guys, man. Them guys are great role models, man. Got great stories, and I think that's what the kids need to hear. We brought in businessmen and people just to teach them how to manage their finances. Those things that I think that we take for granted that can make their lives a whole lot better when they get older. So them guys that come back, man, it's amazing. And you'll be surprised how many people from Rickards are doing great things. And it's still, and you know how the perception of it is you're not going to do anything from out of Rickards. You can't do anything. You're not going to make none of yourself. And I can show you hundreds, thousands of examples of guys doing great things. And so it's a blessing. I think Rickards is one of a kind. I think you do make a big turnaround when you make your mind up at Rickards High School, because you have avenues to do things that you shouldn't be doing, and you have to make big decisions at a young age. And so our guys do mature a little faster in that way, but they still have a lot of growth to go, and I try to make sure I'm always there to help them out.
Now, one of the things in dealing with the athletes, you always have those male-female relationships that they have to understand that can be good or bad, and depending on how you handle it, it can distract you from what your goal is. How do you teach them how to, as a man, as a dad, as a father, how do you talk to them about that to help them keep that in perspective as they move forward? Because not all of them have somebody they can talk to.
I tell them all the time, man, you got a mother, you got a sister, aunt, how would you treat them? All right, they treat them the same, okay? It's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be arguments and fights. Allow the football field to be your outlet and nothing else. All right. Allow your violence to come out on the football field, not on your partner or anybody else. And so, and again, like I tell them, most times the person you're with now is not the person you're going to be with 10 years from now. Use that experience as a learning lesson to grow, and focus on yourself first. At this age, you're not going to do anything in your life unless you focus on yourself anyway. Same thing with the young lady. So you focus on yourself. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But it's a big world out there. Go experience the world. Go enjoy the world first before you try to do anything else. And then don't let it don't let it distract you from doing what you want to do in your life. I try to tell them that. I got a couple more sayings I can't say on
on air,
but I think they're starting to get it. I mean, we've had limited issues with that, and you know, we don't have too many calls with guys disrespecting women. And we talked about it before. Like I said, you respect them like you respect your sister and your mother, and things would be a whole lot better for them.
Well, being the coach, as I said earlier, it allows you to say something to the guys in a way that everybody else doesn't say it. And I know I've said things to people in the mall. I would have my daughters with me, and I would say, man, I don't care what happens with you and baby's mama, but I'm glad to see you carrying your baby. Always let your baby know that you're a daddy and that you love him. Yeah. And always get past whatever else is going on. So my daughter would say, well, Daddy, why you say that? I said, because I see the young man doing something positive. You know, he's carrying his baby, he's with his baby. And I said, we have to encourage them to continue to do that type of thing, because a lot of them don't have somebody to tell them. And coaches, we have to step in sometimes and be that dad, you know, that uncle to talk to them when they don't have it. And even sometimes when they do have it.
You know, that's been my message to my coaches this summer. I'm like, you never know what these young men have been through, what's going on at home, if they have a father figure. All right, you're a father, you got kids. A lot of these young men don't see one every night. All right, so try to be that buffer in between, give them that advice that you'll give your son. Treat him as if he is your son, because they just need love. A lot of time when they do act out and have a I don't care attitude, it's because there's other things in their life bothering them, not football. So let's be that buffer for him. Let's be that guy that he can come talk to, lay his head on my shoulders, and let's cry about it. You know, I had a story that one of the kids' father not there, brother went off to school, and we asked the kid on my team about it, and he broke down crying. And you try to tell the coach, like, man, like, you don't know that this kid might have immense talent, and you feel like that day you're not giving it all, but he was like, man, I can't believe my brother left me. His father already not there, the only guy he had was his brother. And it was like, wow, man, like you don't realize how important it is to him. And man, like he broke everybody down in the room. Like, man, so now we made us realize that sometimes it's bigger than football, man. It's bigger than that. It's the love you give can go a long way. And so that we talk about all the time, man. And it's been evident, like players been coming back every other day. Coach, I love you, man. I'm like, wow, man, like
might have been a kid you had issues with.
I was so tough on y'all, man. But it's love, and so I'm a little better coach now, and a little different now because of things like that. So it's big, man, and we try to make sure that they don't have kids while they're in school. But I do try to make sure they understand what being a father means, and so we have those talks every day about manhood and fatherhood, and when you get older, how you should be. Okay, and I try to make sure they stay focused on not just the now, but the future. Where you want to go, what you want to do in your life, and because it's going to reflect, and you have to take care of somebody eventually. And I want you to give him more, or that child more than what you had. And so that's the goal. And so, like I said, it's bigger than football here. I love football. I love winning games. Well, if we can build these young men, that's all that matters.
And that's so exemplary what you're saying, and it's the responsibility that serious coaches take with a lot of honor and pride, because they understand the football end of it is the smallest component of it. And you have another thing that we deal with that people shy away from, and that's the fact that you have so much negative influence on these kids. Mm-hmm. And people always in their head, and it's hard enough for you to coach your team without somebody else telling them something or pulling them to do something negative. What do you do in those situations, Coach, to try to get them to understand that they can't buy in the negative in the street, to do things they don't have no business doing, going places they don't have no business going, and it's an ongoing 24-hour day battle. What have you put in place to try to help those guys?
My first thing I tell them all the time is you don't hang out with anybody that's not invested in what you invested in. And I just tell them, man, if he's not trying to be a football player, he's not trying to be a doctor or whatever you want to be, why are you hanging around? What's the purpose? All right, family member, friend, you only want to hang around people who are going to better you. And so that's the message I give every day, all the time. And, you know, for the most part, they listen, it works. But you still have that group of kids that just pull them away, and I gotta be the bad guy then. Gotta step in, because I would do it if my son was doing that way. So I can't. Why would I let somebody else's son that I value his life and his future as much as they do veer off? And so I gotta make sure that regardless of what's going on, I'm gonna make sure you do right. So I gotta step in. I step in. But at Rickards, it's an entire family of guys, people doing it. It's not just me. It's Errol Hankins, it's Idris Smith, it's another 10 coaches I got, the other 5 on the basketball team. And through the whole thing, it's one big family. So we do a great job of trying to separate that part of it. Mr. Cook is the biggest advocate of it. Like, he see it, and man, he'll give me a call so quick, and we're going to get an intervention plan put together. And we're trying to, so just so we can make sure he's on track. We doing good. Man, we got a 95% graduation rate at Rickards High School. Like, and the people that don't graduate, they just don't want to do it. And so it's working. It's successful. And we led by Mr. Cook in that sense, and he don't mess around. He's all about safety, all about making sure these kids' futures are successful. And so that's the biggest deal.
You said something about your principal, and one of the things that really warms my heart is to see the unity between Rickards and Godby.
Yeah.
And now, on the field, they go at each other. They're like Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M. But off the court, off the field, they work together. And to see them at basketball games, football games, standing together, if something starts to happen, both of them are right in the middle of what goes on. And to see that unity between those two black leaders at our 2 largest predominantly black high schools, it just kind of warms your heart to see that work and that care and that love for their students to do like they do. And I know it has to affect you when you look up and see them standing there.
You know what's crazy? Mr. Cook was my middle school teacher. Desmond Cole was my high school teacher. All both of them were coaches that kind of molded me. And happened to be the two guys I probably look up to the most probably in this profession because they do it right. It's about the teachers, the kids. It's not about themselves and the accolades that they can gain. And they do it, man. Like the thing they instilled in me when I was young still live on in me today. The hard work, the commitment, all the other intangibles they bless me with is man, it's amazing. I can't talk enough about them. Now we can be rivals all we want to, man, but I don't have no problem calling Desmond Cole and asking for advice and see how you doing. We just had a conversation the other day about it. I mean, he used to, before he was the godly principal, he used to pray for a pregame meal for us and make sure the guys had everything. And the rivalry, we got to stick with it. We got to do it, but it's at the end of the day, it's still the demographic still the same. The problems still the same. And we got to make sure we address the problems and make sure the kids are successful. So if it's Rickards High, if it's Godby, if it's Gaston County, all the same thing. And we all got to just be one accord and make sure these young men are successful. And so that's what's going on, man. And when I say it's a blessing to be at Rickards with a man like this, with a man like Douglas Cook, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I talked to the teachers today that he looks out for everyone. And he gonna make sure before he retires that we successful. And you don't see that in a guy like Mr. Cook that's already established, already successful, don't need to do anything else. He retires in a year and a half. He could be on the couch somewhere sitting down if he wants to be. And he's here making sure not only these students are right, but these black and these men and women that's under him are successful. And he do a great job. Like he's hired more people from parents to teachers than I think anybody ever seen. People who don't have it, making sure they go back to get the education, go back to pass these tests, so they can have more money and establish jobs for their families. And man, you don't see that much. You don't see it much. I see a lot of principals back when we were down in Crescent City, they fire people, man. Just fire people for no reason. And Cook found a way to bring you on. And like, it's been a blessing, man. I hate to see him when he retired what Rickards do, because I don't know if there's too many more people besides a guy like a Desmond Cole that can run this school.
Well, one thing I noted, each time I've reached out to them for insights, they both have been available for whatever I need to come on the show, to have access to the students, to do something. I mean, we had Desmond Cole on a violence show, and he came on, and you know, because that hits our schools. You know, it hits Rickards, it hits God, it hits everybody, but it hits those two. And I have a lot of respect for both of them. You know, Doug playing basketball at FAMU and was there before me, and you know, and Cole spoke. I met him when he spoke at our vacation summer Bible school at New Mount Zion, and that's what I met him before he was principal at Godby. So, I mean, so it's always been a pleasure for me to be able to reach out to them. And one of the things that we started doing Insights was for these type of things to accentuate some of the positive things that are happening.
Right.
Negativity flows quick. You know, they'll drive across town to tell some child that you hear about such and such. But when we have something happen positive in the community, you know, they don't want to talk about it and it's not celebrated. And continuing on that line, we started because there were some basketball players that some of my former players were recruiting, but I didn't know anything about them. I'm a basketball guy. Right. And I'm like, Coach, I had to ask my daughter, I said, that guy over there can jump like that? I said, Coach, he jumps so high, he looked for the rim while he up there. And I'm saying, why is it nobody knows about the caliber of talent in our city until if they make it to a state championship game, then they want to write about them. Right. If we know about them beforehand, we'll go see them.
Right.
You know, and so that's one of the things that has spurred us to do what we were doing. Now there's other people that do it, and that's fine. I don't care. I mean, if 10 people do the game, that's great. Y'all deserve every bit of attention that you get. You know, I'm not, it's exclusive with us. That's not what I'm about. But on that line, you have a senior that's coming out.
Yeah.
That the rumor has that he's a 5-star recruit.
Yeah.
And I had seen him because we've been covering your games, but I didn't know he was drawing the attention that he was receiving. And I know football is the ultimate team game. It's the ultimate team game. But Coach, tell us about this 5-star recruit you have that's a terror defensive end. I need everybody to come see him before they see him at UGA or Florida or somewhere else, and then you hear him say he went to Tallahassee Rickards, and you say, what?
Yeah. I don't think he gets the pub that most people in the city get from other schools. He is the probably highest ranked guy to come out in a while. But that, man, football, I keep telling you, he plays football, he's very good. He's 6'5", 250, he run like a deer. He have everything your God blessed him with to play football. Man, he a 4.4, 4.5 student, man. IB student, gonna graduate early. The most humble guy I know. And probably the hardest working superstar, highly recruited guy that you'll ever see. So it's those things that make him Jalen Wiggins. It ain't even the football. It's the making sure his teammates have rides to practice. It's the making sure they eat. Making sure they bond together. That's what it's about, man. Hey, man, Jalen Wiggins can play football. He's gonna be a 5-star recruit anywhere. It's the other things that he have that he's a no sir, yes sir, and he finna make more money than I make in a year. You know what I'm saying? And then I make in 3 or 4. You know what I mean? But he still has enough respect to treat you like a man. You know what I mean? To treat women like women. You barely hear him raise his voice. He's very intense. Now when he hit the football field, a different man come out. That face frowns up. He's angry. He's violent. He plays it well, but that don't say nothing about Jalen Wiggins. He reminds me of that Marion Rowe kid that went to Florida State. That he played football, had all the talent, but education is key. And he want to be an engineer, man. I tell you, he's gonna be one. He had an opportunity to get out of the tough classes last year because he was going to graduate early, and he couldn't graduate with an IB diploma. He said, "Coach, I need to prepare for college, so I'm gonna stay in these classes. Take the easy way out and be any electives and work out every day. He can watch film every day, be a better football player. He talk about education. You know what I mean? He don't talk about leaving college early. He talk about getting his degree. That's the difference in him, man. That 5-star is great, but the difference in him, man, he is a man, and his priorities are straight. And he was raised by 2 amazing people that got a great son. You know what I mean? And so, but he can play the game of football, and he's very good at it. He's probably the most dominant force we had in class in a long time. And he can play defense end, he can play tight end. He long snaps. He can play O-line with him too. He can play linebacker with him too. He do anything we ask. He's an amazing baseball player. That if he was going to stay in school, would probably have a chance of getting drafted. He's an amazing kid, and he's humble. You would not know he had that many offers doing that good or committed to the University of Florida, because he don't talk about it. He only talks about what's now and how the bond and the thing he had with his teammates. And that's it. And so that's really the real deal. But I don't think he gets the pub in the community like everybody else. And right now he's committed to Florida, and that might be one of the reasons why.
Coach, I heard that Georgia still was like, we gonna turn him, we gonna change him. I mean, who are some of the people that really been on it?
Well, every SEC, ACC school here, Stanford, and being UCLA, USC, Texas, everything you can have. What they say is this: it's a marathon, not a sprint. Mm-hmm. They said recruiting, you can commit to a school right now. I still have opportunity until you sign letter of intent. Mm-hmm. They said we're going to respect your wishes, but we're going to come back to see how you feel 3-4 weeks later. All right, and they still recruiting, man. He's strong. He's strongly committed to Florida right now, and the season haven't started yet. And now what everybody say, once your season starts, the coaching staff may change, or some of them might change, and you never know. They be on them hard, but when I say by every head coach in the big time school, I've been through the school looking for him. Wow. And some of them 3, 4, 5, 6 times. You know what I mean? They just keep coming
the head
back
coaches
and, trying to find a way to get to them. And every time they get an opportunity to stop in, they stop in and see him. And so it's a blessing. He talks about it as a blessing and a curse at the same time, because he's getting pulled out of classes where he really want to be in. You know what I mean? He's getting they calling all time of night, and social media full. You know what I mean? And he said it's a blessing at first, but then after a while it's overwhelming. It's a curse. It's too much. That's one reason why he had to shut it down this summer. He said, I'm committed to Florida right now, because it was getting, everybody was coming in, because and everybody was negatively recruiting, not positive recruiting. So they was kind of get on the nerves. You know what I mean? Right. And so you know, I mean, he's gonna have a great year. Now we're gonna go as he go. If he play ball, it's gonna be tough to do anything against us. Now the nights he have bad nights, we hoping our young guys can mature enough. But he got two guys that, I told him I got two guys just like him behind him. They just gotta continue to grow. And
Is Jacoby Gilbert one of them?
Jacoby Gilbert and Emmanuel Moore. Both of them guys are almost carbon copies. The only thing Wiggins do is play a little harder right now. We're trying to get them to play with the same motor Wiggins have, and the sky's their limits. I mean, pretty good football players, man.
Now you had a guy on the offensive side of the ball that I thought played with so much heart last year. That was Camarion Battles. Yeah,
well, man, I'll tell you what happened. Like you said earlier, people get in the ear and tell you what they can do more than somebody else, right? These young men don't understand that, hey, colleges come to certain schools. All right, they're gonna find you regardless most times, and no high school coach has the ability to get you a scholarship. But he failed for what Gaston County was selling, so he's at Gaston County now.
Is he?
Yeah, and he's a great football player. Gonna be a great kid. I wish him the best. I mean, but he fell for the line, and they got him. All right. Now I can tell you what it does, though. We were very talented anyway. So we got a guy who play running back in Carlise Price. It's faster, but it's just explosive. Gonna have a great season. I think Price now understands that he don't have to sit behind nobody. I thought last year he felt like I need to be his backup. Now he's understanding that he can be the star. And I mean, his limits for real. He is super talented, and we only scratching the surface of what he can do football wise. And so that the more we find out about how good he is, the better our offense is going to be.
What's his classification?
He's a junior. He's going to be a junior. So we got 2 years left, and the good thing is my whole team is young. I mean, I got about 62 on the roster. Got about 12 seniors. Everybody, so I got everybody for 2 more years at least, and so I'm looking forward to these next 3 to be very, very, very good football season for us.
Okay, well, it seemed like as the season went on, your quarterback matured for you, and he was really erratic the first part of the season, but then it seemed like a light switch went on, and he just looked like he grew up all of a sudden. Has he continued that same maturation process?
Yeah. Now he's a spoiled kid now. And you get the only child syndrome come out sometimes. But last year he had just got in, maybe 2 weeks before the season. We had to cram a whole offense into him, and so he struggled learning the systems early. You can tell towards the end of the season he started to get it down, but now he's in year 2. He has full control over it now. He can make every throw. He understands where the ball is supposed to go. He understands his reads now, the coverages, and what we're trying to ask of him offensively. I think he was like 16 for 24 in the spring game with 290 and 3-4 touchdowns. Like he understands what we're trying to ask of him, and so he has a lot better pieces around him too. They're young, but they're talented. They're fast. They're explosive, and they have a chip on their shoulders also to try to prove something. And so I think that with that combination, them young receivers and running backs we have with him, that's going to be what's going to push us for real. It's been a while since we can just come up and put up 35, 40 points. And I think this year is going to be one of the years that, hey, you can't put up 40, you can't beat us. So we're gonna go as his goal. His backup is Jordan Kelly. He's a sophomore that's learning right now also, and so both of them guys, I love what they bring to the table, and I mean I'm anxious. I can't wait to see him actually put it on. Now I think he has something to prove. He told me he's going to be the player of the year this year, and I believe it.
Coach, I haven't seen you this excited about the team in a while. I mean,
Yeah.
not that you've ever been depressed, but you just really seem excited about this group that you have.
Yeah, this group is different, man. You know, you have some groups that make you dread coming to practice some days. You're like, man, God, I got to deal with this. With this group, it's just growth. They have, like I said, that chip on their shoulder. They have a want to learn it and no egos. And I tell them all the time that in my demographic, we have a selfish way of growing up. Like, you got to look out for yourself. Do stuff for yourself. Don't wait for nobody else. And this group have bought into the team aspect of it already. The unity, the one heartbeat. And that would make it fun. Like, no matter how hard we push, they're not letting it down. Now, they're pushing and they give everything we got, and some days they don't have it, but they still finding a way. That would make it exciting. I think more than anything. I feel we're going to win games just off of that alone. They get along with each other. Like, you can have you have a little scuff or something at practice, but it's over at practice. You know what I mean? Practice over with, and we have a coach meeting about 20 men. We outside, the whole team to the locker room talking to each other. Like, you don't have that all the time, and those things right there what make coaching good, exciting. I want to be the practice today because I want to see what I can get out of them, what they can accomplish. And they find a way to surprise me every day. Like, there is no way that what they went through this week we'd have about 4 or 5 quit by now.
They had hard practices in their hot sun.
And when I say nothing budge, like, it's like that's all you got. Like, what? Like, they challenged me to be a better coach. You know what I mean? And we talk about taking notes in practice and in meetings, and you see them. And I've never seen a group take as detailed notes as they do. Like, you used to take kids, you write something on the board and they're right behind you. Like, these guys taking notes on all the details, communicating with his teammates, making up calls before I tell them to. And I'm like, what dog? Like, y'all learning football now. And so it just it's finally exciting to be able to teach football. And last year team was a little different. We had a lot more egos, a lot more selfish play, and it showed on the football field. With this group here, I just want to see them battle. Because I think they battle, the more they battle, the closer they're going to become. It's going to be tough to beat us. They can keep battling together. And so that's been a blessing. So this team has been pretty good for us.
Coach, I hear the locker room coming to life out there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna close with this. You got 4 or 5 of your first games at home. What do you want to tell your fans about your team and about how important their support is to come out and get behind these young men and be there for them? Because the first part of the season could be important for them.
It's set up that way, I think. I wanted the fans to see them early. All right, to see them early. I think this group here, they've been playing on the south side since they were 5. They've been playing together from part 1 of the middle school. So I think their fan base is there already. I want the fans to know that they're gonna be ready to play football. They're gonna be fast. They're gonna be aggressive. They're gonna be physical. They're gonna be disciplined. And so with that comes great football, man, piece by piece. And we talk about building a Rickards standard. Like, we got to represent not just Rickards, but everybody in Walkley hallways, the Raiders, the Redskins, the projects down on the south side, Orange Avenue to Crawfordville Highway. We represent all that. And so we're going to put on a show every night. All right, from the band to the cheerleaders to the football team to whatever we have. You know, we have youth days and church community day and all these other events to get everybody involved. We want them to be part of what it is to be a Rickards High School guy, all right, to be a Rickards Raider for real. And so I want my fans to know that it's going to be some good football. Come out and support. Let's be rowdy, let's be loud. Talk about if it ain't chippy, it ain't Rickards High School. And so they be chipping the stands the same way. And so they're gonna show up. They're gonna come and show up. And my fans don't. You gotta make them happy now. So we can't go out there and lose games and think they're gonna keep showing up. But I think this group understands what's in store, what the expectations are, and we're looking to win state championship, and we're looking to win it this year and not later. And so the end result gonna be good for us, I think, this year.
INSiiGHTS is the copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.